What's up, Amanda?
Hello, Dr. John. I can't believe I'm actually talking to you. I
can't believe
don't
I'm
know how
talking to
you
you.
do this every day because I am so nervous, and I'm not a very nervous person. I don't have stage fright, so
I'm nervous.
I don't know how you do it every day.
I'm super nervous. Super nervous. I was going to say something about stage fright, but I won't. Hey, so what's up?
Yeah, so, oh goodness, there is so much detail and background to this story, so I'm going to try to articulate myself and summarize it and get the point across.
Start at the end and then work back. So where are you right this second?
Okay, so the overarching thing is pretty much how do we navigate a strained relationship with my husband's best friend and his wife when she refuses to talk it out. And so
Hold on. You don't.
You don't? Okay.
You don't. Is he friends with, he's your husband's best friend?
Lifelong, like brothers. My husband is an only child, and it's literally been his lifelong best friend. His parents are best friends with his parents. And yeah, so this has been, we're at a massive impasse.
Well, I mean, his best friend's choosing his wife.
Yeah.
And I wish it was less complicated. I mean, I wish it was more complicated than that. But his best friend is choosing wife over him.
Right, which he should.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe.
But,
I guess, yeah, he should.
Yes, when it's spoken generally like that, yes. But there's just been so much that has happened. I can kind of give you my little synopsis here.
Will it? So I have a bad habit of overcomplicating things. And so one of the things I'm working on is simplifying things. Is extra nuance here helpful? Or is it coming down to your husband's best friend is choosing his wife over his lifelong best friend, therefore making that relationship, has the relationship somebody chosen to opt out?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it feels like. Behavior's a language, like you always say. It's kind of, come down to that, something happened that hurt my feelings and kind of crossed a line for me. So we pulled a WWJD, what would John do? And I asked her to sit down to coffee sometime and, talk out anything that we have going on. And she pretty much refused to do it and said some pretty cruel things to me. And, that's not how we thought it was going to go. I figured she'd go with me to coffee and,
What'd she say to you?
Oh, without pulling up the messages and reading them, I wouldn't be able, it's not like she straight out called me the B word or something, but it was pretty much an attack on my character and saying that I'm being petty and I'm starting drama and all of this stuff.
Did your husband call his buddy and say, dude, what's up?
He did.
How'd that go?
He did. Well, so when they got on the phone, the first thing my husband's friend said was, this is the only time we're going to discuss this, and why are we going to let this get in the way of a lifelong relationship? He pretty much thinks that, I need to just move on like it never happened. And obviously my husband's well, my wife was disrespected. And so, I feel like I can't move forward.
What was the thing that happened?
In the text messaging. In the text messaging when I tried to ask her to go to coffee. And I was very general. I just said, hey, would you be wanting to go to coffee sometime? And,
but specifically, what did she say that was so devastating that you have told your husband, I'm drawing a line here, and either your lifelong best friend's wife fixes this or this is over?
It was pretty much essentially calling me a petty little girl and that, I'm trying to start drama and that pretty much she pretty much attacked my character in the message and then said, I'm not having this conversation. I'm done. You can't respond. You can't have any feelings here. And you need to just like move on. So it's pretty much like she got to like attack my character and say her piece and then act like I'm not able to, address it or sit and talk with her or anything. Yeah.
So it sounds like there's it's just a strange impasse because you have one of the best friend's wife saying, until she fixes this, y'all can't be friends. And then you have the other wife saying, well, until you fix this, y'all can't be friends.
Well, and I'm not saying that he can't be friends because we've never really been like each other's like cup of tea, I guess you could say. If it wasn't for our spouses, we wouldn't like be friends, outside in the real world. But we've always kind of just like, been cordial with one another. She's done things that have been like, like rude or hurtful in the past, and I've kind of just like brushed them off and let them go.
Like what? I guess I'm concerned that you're giving this other woman so much voice into your life.
Yeah.
Like it seems like, you just keep this a laundry list, but it's not really a laundry list as much as just a big box or a big jar of feelings.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're choosing to pick it up and carry it every day. I'm just curious about it.
Yeah.
You're giving this woman a lot of power in your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I've got friends that I hang out with. My wife doesn't hang out with us and the person they happen to be with. But it's just not like I guess their person doesn't disrespect my wife. So I guess there's that. But
Right.
I guess my question to you is, why are you carrying this around?
Well, it's because I want it to work out.
It's not going to.
Because I want it to for my husband, And so, because I thinking about it, if it was vice versa and it was my friend, I'd be like, I would kind of feel the same way, like, hey, it's kind of hard to move forward, and it makes it even more hard to move forward when you're trying to pretty much, say that my husband is overreacting and needs to let it go.
But you have one wife that says, I don't like the way you're acting. I want to talk to you about it. And the other wife saying, I don't want to talk to you. I don't like you.
Yeah.
And then,
and we tried to make it super like general, like, my husband even said, if Amanda's ever done anything to upset, insert wife's name, she will happily, like, she wants to sit down and hear about those things too. But it's kind of like they just, don't want to do that. And he was supposed to get back with my husband after he talked to his wife, but he never did. And so like a month later, my husband checked back in and was like, hey, did you ever talk to, insert wife's name? And he said, oh, I haven't talked to her since the night that we last spoke. And he didn't really know what to say to it. So he kind of just didn't respond because he kind of felt like, oh, so you don't really care, like, about mending our friendship either then.
So I've never talked about this on the show ever. Not one time. And in fact, I have never talked about this publicly. My oldest best friend on the planet, like the person that I've got a whole other life with this amazing guy. And about 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, I got an email from the other side of the world and they said, hey, we had a great run and I wish you the best. This is the last you're ever going to hear from me. And hit send. And I checked it back. I emailed back, and it had been like, like slowly over time. I had a couple of kids. I moved across the country. This person moved across the world, and this person got married, had a kid. Like, so it was naturally happening. And I immediately hit reply, and the email had already bounced back. And that's it. And it breaks my heart because I've got so many extraordinary memories. And in honor of this person, I don't ever talk about this person. I'll never say their name publicly. I don't tell any of the stories. And there's some wild ones. I just don't bring it up. And that's out of respect for that person, because that person made it clear that they're changing directions in their life. And this person gets to do that.
Yeah.
And I hate it. And it is. And so I grieved it, and it makes me sad. And then I'm going to do the best I can to not choose to be miserable today.
Yeah.
And anything beyond, I mean, it just is. And I think we try to hang on to childhood friendships when it's kind of like, I mentioned Todd and John, those are two of my closest buddies. Man, we did everything together. And then we all got married, and we all still did stuff together all the time. And then we started having kids, and I realized one of my buddies is like a Little League dad, one of those crazy ones that draws Little League lineups all day. Another one of my buddies was like a Cub Scout dad. And I was like, hey, let's go out in the woods. Like, you just find out these people are different. And there's a period of time when you don't hang out as much, and life gets busy, and it kind of circles back, and then it kind of ebbs and kind of flows. And then somebody's wife, gets a job, and somebody else's wife gets sick, and then somebody moves. It's just the heartbreaking part of life that some of these childhood ride or dies, people grow up, and then they change.
Yeah.
And at some point, I don't like the language. I just reject the language, a relationship ran its course. I think that's stupid. But at some point, somebody said, I'm not putting any more gas in this tank. I'm going a different direction. Or this car's out of gas. I'm going to walk from here. I appreciate it. We've had a good run. And I love the memories. And I think you and your husband have to be there. And if you have a principle that people don't talk to me that way, and if they do, then they have to apologize, or I'm cutting them out, or I'm not talking to them, or whatever, and that's going to cost this friendship or that, you got to stick by that. And your husband looked at you and said, till death do us part. Same with his buddy. And so it's one of those hard realities that you and your husband need to say, okay, this was a big part of your life, this relationship, and it appears to be over. It appears to be over. And I'll still cheer him on, and when he has a kid, I'll be happy for him, be exciting. But it's time for us to live in this new reality, which is he's choosing his wife. His wife doesn't want anything to do with us. And by extension, he's choosing to say, I don't want anything to do with you guys either. And then we're moving on. And then you got to be really sad, because that was an important relationship to him for the first 10, 20, 25 years of his life. And now the adventure is going to be, who am I going to make friends with now? Because you can't just not have friends. But we're going to go make new relationships. And it's going to be awkward and weird and terrible and all those things. And you're going to find a couple of people that become really close friends to you. But at some point, you got to stop letting this other woman have so much power over you. You've got to stop trying to reclaim something that another couple is clearly saying, hey, guys, we're done with this relationship. Wish you all the best. And that doesn't mean it's done forever, but it's done for right now. And I think you and your husband need to say, okay, there's nothing we can reclaim here. They don't want us. And we're going to grieve it and be sad. And then we're going to go find a new couple and invite them over and start with square one. Is that good news? No, that's heartbreaking, man. And I just know from personal experience, I've been there. I hate it. And it is. It is. And I'm going to choose at the end of the day, after grieving, to look up and say, how can I make tomorrow brighter than today? Because what's the other option? I just refuse to sit in misery anymore. Thanks for the call, Amanda. Appreciate you. I wish I had better news for you, but I think you knew the answer. You know the answer. It's just about taking that next step forward.